know all too well when they last heard the word Super Typhoon. It was in 2013, during the onslaught of Super Typhoon Yolanda. Filipinos remember all too well what damage the word Super Typhoon brought, how much destruction, how much death. According to the NDRRMC, if someone wants to picture what the northern section of the country is facing now with Super Typhoon Lawin, they only need to think of Yolanda. At 2 in the afternoon, it was already 800 kilometers wide, 200 kilometers wider than Yolanda. Lawin is large enough to envelop northern until central Luzon and still be felt in parts of Bicol. Super Typhoon Lawin also brings with it a huge volume of rain. There is a large possibility of flooding in low-lying or downstream areas. Landslides are also a great possibility, especially in areas that have already been inundated by the recent Typhoon Karen. The NDRRMC also warns those living in northern Cagayan and other coastlines up north that they are prone to storm surges from 2 to 5 meters high. To be sure, the public is advised to visit the website of Project NOAA.
Signboard na nagtukla pa dahil nga sa lakas ng hangin. Humarang din sa mga kalsado ang mga naputol na sanga at mga nabuwal na puno. Hirap tuloy makataan ng mga motorista. Sa laki ng mga nabuwal na puno, kinailangan na itong gamitan ng chainsaw at heavy equipment para maialis sa kalsada. Kaya naman inabisuhan ng mga tao na huwag nang bumiyahe o lumabas ng bahay dahil zero visibility na.
Are you serious? Are you serious? Folks, it's unbelievable, but Typhoon Haima is slamming into the Philippines. This thing is a monster. It's a Category 4, and yet the media is not even talking about this. Unbelievable. But a dangerous typhoon is making landfall in the Philippines just days after another major storm had just hit. Local emergency managers are warning that this storm surge could be more than 15 feet in the northernmost region of Luzon. Another foot of rain is likely on top of a soaking wet soil. This will cause landslides and absolute flash flooding. And Typhoon Haima, known as Lawin in the Philippines, is a monster of a storm with sustained winds of 160 miles an hour. It's became the 5th super typhoon of the year. And the average for this time of year is approximately 3. This is number 6. This thing is a Category 4. Unbelievable. As it's coming ashore right now. So pray for the Philippines, pray for these folks. They got rioting going on there. They're upset. The president wants the U.S. troops out of there, even after all these years of a wonderful relationship. But they do not like Washington trying to push their left-wing liberal ideology agenda upon their way of living. Because there's a lot of Christians in the Philippines. Trust me. Dr. Lester Sumrall went there and preached, cast the demon out of a girl in prison. It sparked a revival that over 100,000 people were saved. He built the largest church in the Philippines of 20,000 people before leaving. It's still there today, still doing wonderful. One of his nephews is running it. I'm just telling you, the Philippines has been, for them to turn on America is just really weird. The Obama administration, the name calling between the president of the Philippines and Obama is just off the charts. And now a typhoon of biblical proportion is slamming the Philippines. And this is just really, they're expecting landslides, mudslides, flooding, 20 inches of rain in some places, a foot of rain in others. Unbelievable high winds, storm surges, and just on and on. So really pray for the Philippines as this typhoon is coming ashore. We'll be back with more. We've had a lot of really bad storms this year, a lot. And has something to do with the rotation of the Earth? Is it the waves of energy that Mike from around the world talks about? Is it the magnetic sphere breaking down that BP Earthwatch talks about? Is it CERN that Anthony Patch talks about? And he'll be my guest tomorrow on my live broadcast, Anthony Patch. Is it Planet X that Steve Olson and Gil Brazard and others are talking about? I don't know. Something. I know this. The heavens said there'll be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Men's hearts fail them for fear, for looking after those things that are coming upon the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. This is the word of God. Luke 21:25. Then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, he said, look up, lift up your heads, for your redemption is drawing nigh. Are you saved? Don't miss today's live broadcast. It'll be powerful. 12 noon Eastern. At my website at www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. New live stream, Roku, satellite television, Blog Talk Radio, and yes, right here on this YouTube channel.
Filipinos know all too well when they last heard the word Super Typhoon. It was in 2013, during the onslaught of Super Typhoon Yolanda. Filipinos remember all too well what damage the word Super Typhoon brought, how much destruction, how much death. According to the NDRRMC, if someone wants to picture what the northern section of the country is facing now with Super Typhoon Lawin, they only need to think of Yolanda. Filipinos know all too well when they last heard the word Super Typhoon. It was in 2013, during the onslaught of Super Typhoon Yolanda. Filipinos remember all too well what damage the word Super Typhoon brought, how much destruction, how much death. According to the NDRRMC, if someone wants to picture what the northern section of the country is facing now with Super Typhoon Lawin, they only need to think of Yolanda. At 2 in the afternoon, it was already 800 kilometers wide, 200 kilometers wider than Yolanda. Lawin is large enough to envelop northern until central Luzon.